Lecture. Welcome to Lesson 19, Lecture 2. How can we determine whether producing more of a good increases our standard of living? Our standard of living increases when consumers value more the extra amount of the good produced than the goods and services foregone. For example, suppose that an economy produces another ton of steel. Producing more steel requires the steel factories to purchase more inputs. When the economy is on its production possibilities frontier, the additional resources needed must quit producing other goods and services, and the amount of other goods and services decreases. More steel leads to less other goods and services. If consumers value more the extra steel produced than they do the goods and services foregone, then the standard of living increases. If consumers value more the goods and services foregone than the extra steel, then the standard of living decreases. How can we measure the value of producing more of a good or service? The highest price a consumer is willing to pay measures the value of the last unit produced. Suppose the quantity of steel increases from 99 to 100 when price falls from $4.15 to $4. This tells us someone values the 100th ton of steel at $4. A rational consumer would pay $4 for a ton of steel if the value was greater than 4, but would not pay $4 if the value was less than 4. Marginal cost measures the opportunity cost of the last unit produced. Producing more steel requires the steel factories to purchase more inputs. These inputs are valuable to other employers and firms. If the consumers value highly the goods and services produced by the other employers and firms, the steel factories must pay high prices to get the inputs to move. As a consequence, the marginal cost of producing more steel reflects the value of the goods and services foregone. The socially efficient quantity equates price and marginal cost. When price is greater than marginal cost, then an increase in output raises our standard of living because the value of the extra amount produced is greater than the value of the goods and services foregone. When price is less than marginal cost, then an increase in output reduces our standard of living because the value of the extra output produced is less than the value of the goods and services foregone. A competitive market tends to produce exactly that socially efficient quantity. In perfect competition, the firm's demand curve is horizontal, and it maximizes profit by producing the output that equates price and marginal cost. Hooray for perfect competition. Monopoly, on the other hand, tends to produce less than the socially efficient quantity. Since the demand curve is downward sloping, marginal revenue is below the demand, and when the monopoly makes marginal cost equal to marginal revenue, it winds up charging a price that's higher than marginal cost. As a result, the quantity that maximizes profit for the monopoly is less than the socially efficient quantity. The socially efficient quantity is the quantity where the demand curve intersects the marginal cost curve. Boo for monopoly. Some other differences exist between perfect competition and monopoly. First, average total cost is usually higher when the industry is a monopoly. Entry and exit force every perfect competitor to produce the quantity that minimizes average total cost in the long run. In the long run, the firm's demand will be equal to the minimum average total cost. QF makes price equal to marginal cost. QF also makes average total cost as low as it can go. The monopoly quantity makes marginal cost equal to marginal revenue. This quantity may be more than or less than the quantity that minimizes average total cost. Second, profit is usually higher when the industry is a monopoly. Entry and exit force economic profit to zero for perfect competitors in the long run. Barriers to entry for the monopoly mean that a monopoly's ability to earn positive economic profit may persist in the long run. That concludes Lecture 2.